Welcome to Bible Storytime, and thank you for joining us. We have followed Jesus through his challenging ministry in Galilee, watched him call his disciples, and heard the first shocking pronouncements about his coming suffering and rejection. Now we move to a mountaintop experience, a brief, blinding glimpse behind the curtain of his human disguise, revealing the eternal glory he shares with God the Father. This is the story of the Transfiguration of Jesus, recorded in Luke chapter 9. About a week after Peter had correctly confessed Jesus as the Messiah and was immediately rebuked by Jesus for failing to grasp the necessity of the cross, Jesus sets apart a core group. He takes Peter, James, and John aside. These three disciples are consistently chosen for the most intimate and significant moments of his ministry. They witness the raising of Jairus' daughter, they will join him in the agony of Gethsemane, and now they are selected for this transformative vision. They climb a high mountain, intentionally separating themselves from the rest of the disciples and the massive crowds below. As they wait, perhaps in quiet contemplation or prayer, the very nature of Jesus begins to change before their eyes. Luke describes it powerfully. His face becomes dazzling, shining like the sun, and his clothes turn brilliantly white, gleaming with an unearthly light. The disciples are stunned into silence as the ordinary, human appearance gives way to the radiant, eternal truth. And Jesus is not alone in this display of divine majesty. Two iconic figures appear beside him, bathed in the same light, engaged in deep, meaningful conversation with him, Moses and Elijah. These are the two monumental figures of the Old Testament narrative. Moses, the lawgiver who received God's direct covenant instruction, and Elijah, the greatest of the prophets, who spoke God's fierce judgment and promised return. Their presence signifies a critical theological meeting, the law and the prophets gathering together to bear witness to the fulfillment of all their hopes in the Christ. Significantly, they are discussing Jesus' final act, which Luke describes as his departure, or the exodus he was about to accomplish in Jerusalem, his passion, death, resurrection, and ultimate ascension. Peter, ever the impulsive spokesperson, struggles to process this heavenly vision through his limited earthly understanding. Still reeling from the recent discussion about the cross, he bursts out, clinging desperately to the idea of permanent earthly glory.
Master, it is good for us to be here. Let's make 3 shelters, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah.
Peter wants to build tabernacles, literal tents, hoping to freeze this perfect, glorious moment and keep the divine light contained on the mountaintop, effectively avoiding the painful, messy reality waiting for them down in the valley. But before Peter can even finish constructing his temporary structures, the true voice of ultimate authority interrupts. A cloud, a visible, tangible manifestation of God's very presence, the Shekinah, overshadows them, and a voice booms out from within it. This is the Father speaking directly to his Son, reinforcing the declaration made at the baptism.
This is my Son, whom I have chosen. Listen to him.
This divine command is the central takeaway of the entire event. Moses and Elijah fade away. The temporary shelters are rendered instantly irrelevant. The only voice that matters, the only authority that remains in focus, is Jesus. The Father directs the disciples, and by extension, every subsequent generation, to cease listening primarily to the voices of the past, the law and the prophets, and to focus exclusively, with total allegiance, on the one who has now brought the ultimate fulfillment, his Son. The disciples are terrified by the power of the voice in the vision. When the moment passes, they find themselves alone again with Jesus, back on solid ground in the normal world. Luke records that they kept silent about what they had seen, too overwhelmed and confused to speak of it until the Son of Man had risen from the dead. They needed time to process that the dazzling, blinding glory they witnessed on the peak was inextricably linked to the suffering and rejection Jesus had just predicted. The Transfiguration assures us that Jesus is indeed the promised one, sharing the very essence and glory of God the Father. But it teaches us a vital lesson. This divine glory is not meant to be an escape hatch from earthly reality. It is the foundation for facing that reality with confidence. The light of the resurrection is rooted in the light of heaven, making the path of the cross meaningful. Thank you for joining us for Bible Story Time. If this glimpse of Jesus' divine nature inspires you to listen more closely to his words, especially the difficult ones, please like, share, and subscribe. The glory seen on the mountain prepares us for the journey toward the cross.